1938. Matson Navigation, serving Guam and Micronesia for 20 years. Cars Plus, Dodge Challenger, the undisputed champion. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. Pacific Solar and King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo. Always open, always local.
Ahead on Primetime, Governor DeKalb receives signed petitions urging him to veto Bill 326. Plus, members of the Neo-Catechumenal Way speak out about that same legislation. With 49 days left till the general election, senatorial candidates share their views. Ken Kitanita has more from the GYP Forum. Hafaday and good evening, Guam. I'm Crystal Paco. A petition circulated by the Archdiocese of Agana to veto Bill 326 is officially in the hands of the governor. According to a release from the Archdiocese of Agana, the petition contained over 4,500 signatures, which were collected in the last 4 days. Bill 326 passed on session floor earlier this month. The legislation lifts the civil statute of limitations for child sex abuse cases, which the church predicts could result in bankruptcy and put an end to other church community services as well as forced closure of Catholic schools. Governor DeKalb has until Friday to take action. The bill, meanwhile, is with his legal team for review. One member of the Archdiocese of Agana's Presbyteral Council is going to propose placing a moratorium on the Neo-Catechumenal Way. In a phone interview with KUAM, Poly Mike Chrysostomo of the Immaculate Heart of Mary Church in Totu says the council may meet on Thursday following the return of Apostolic Administrator Savio Han Tai-Fai to Guam. Poly Mike cites other dioceses, such as in the Philippines and in Japan, where they placed temporary prohibitions of NCW activity for similar reasons.
To destroy them or whatever. This is really just to assess what can we do to maybe strengthen and maybe help our church. And if this Neo-Catechumenal Way is going to be just that, then how is it that we can help? Obviously, it's been at the center of the division here in our church. And I just felt that this is something that needed to happen.
The proposal follows Tuesday's press conference held by delegate to the administrator, Father Jeff St. Nicholas, who alleges the Neo-Catechumenal Way may be interfering with local church affairs and continues to support Archbishop Anthony Abron, who stands accused of child molestation. A longtime member of the Neo-Catechumenal Way speaks out following allegations made by Father Jeff St. Nicholas at a press conference on Tuesday. As we reported, Father Jeff believes the NCW is pushing their agenda and interest to the detriment of other Catholics. Forget what you've heard.
Come listen.
Dr. Ricardo Eusebio has been a member of the Neo-Catechumenal Way for nearly 2 decades. He also serves as a member of the Redemptorist Mater Seminary Board of Directors. He refers to the Way as a crutch or cane he uses to be more like Christ, but what outsiders have unfairly portrayed as a character from nightmares.
I think the Neo-Catechumenal Way has been made to be the boogeyman. Everything that you don't like is the fault of the Neo-Catechumenal Way. Everything that is bad is a Neo-Catechumenal Way. And so much so that the advances, that the reputation of the Neo-Catechumenal Way has been harmed significantly because of this.
On Tuesday, delegate to the administrator, Father Jeff St. Nicholas, spoke out about NCW alleging the group continues to push their agenda and interest to the detriment of other Catholics. Similar findings are evidenced in a 141-page report released on Tuesday by the Visitation Ad Hoc Committee, who recently visited the Redemptorist Mater Seminary. According to Dr. Eusebio, the report and its findings are flat-out biased. He also denies allegations the NCW is force-feeding their agenda. The group stands at 700 strong today and continues to grow because people want to come.
This committee arrived at their conclusion, and how they arrived at their conclusion came from a biased perspective. They're not interested in the RMS, in the Redemptorist Mater Seminary. They're more interested in the closure of that seminary. So what sort of conclusion do you think that they're going to have? I'm not surprised.
Dr. Eusebio also speaks out as president of the organization Catholic Families for Aperon. The group was formed after senators passed Bill 326 on session floor. Members of the group urged parishioners to sign a petition being circulated by the Archdiocese of Agana to veto the legislation, not because it may force the church into bankruptcy, but because it fails to address the bigger issue. And child sex abuse affects more than just altar boys.
I think we're not doing enough, and this is an opportunity for us to address that. And so I think that we should take back this bill, reassess it, and bring forth a more comprehensive bill to take care of all these kids.
Apostolic Administrator Savio Han Tai-Fai is anticipated to make his return to the island on Thursday morning. As we've been reporting, Guam's interim Archbishop was appointed to Guam in June, while Archbishop Anthony Apron was placed on leave amid allegations of child sex abuse. Earlier this month, Han traveled to Rome, where he reports he's been urging the Holy See to remove Apron as the Bishop of Guam and to appoint a successor. The trip follows a previous attempt to remove Apron. According to Han, the Presbyteral Council wrote to Apron asking him to step down. That letter was sent in July and was unsuccessful. A 39-year-old woman was arrested earlier today accused of stealing from her employers. Judith Donato Pueblo works as a housekeeper. According to Guam Police Department spokesperson Captain Kim Santos, she allegedly pocketed currency and other high-valued items from at least 2 homes. A search warrant was conducted at her home and some of the stolen items were retrieved. She was booked and confined. GWA says one of the 3 wells that was tagged in an EPA health advisory last month is back online. Waterworks advised during a CCU work session that the other 2 wells remain disconnected pending replacement of their chemical filtration systems. The wells were found to contain the chemical PFOS, which according to the EPA website has been used to make many common products such as clothing and food and packaging, and most people have been exposed to them. They are also used for airport firefighting. The CCU said it met with the head of the EPA's water division, who reportedly is satisfied with the action GW has taken. GPA says Tuesday night's blackouts were caused by the MEC number 8 unit tripping offline. To compensate for the loss of the 44-megawatt baseload unit, GPA began a load-shedding schedule at about 7:30 p.m. Areas affected were Dedido, Jigo, Agana, Chalanpago, Tamuning Tuman, Jotnya, Barragata, and Mengilao. GPA says the generator tripped off due to mechanical problems. It came back online at about 10:30. The partner unit, MEC number 9, went down earlier in the week for the same cause. The Guam Education Board has completed the internal investigation into the sexual misconduct complaint made against Superintendent John Fernandez back in May. According to board member Maria Gutierrez, the board members received a copy of the 68-page report from GEB's legal counsel Tuesday afternoon. Members are currently reviewing the report and will meet on September 27 to discuss the findings and ascertain whether or not any policies have been violated. It only happens once every 6 years, and this week, the United States Coral Reef Task Force is meeting in Guam and the Marianas to discuss issues related to global warming, coral reefs, and local watersheds. Isa Baza has more.
The Mariana Islands are home to the most diverse coral reefs in the United States, and these reefs are on display as part of the 36th Coral Reef Task Force meeting happening in both Guam and the Marianas. Task Force co-chair Eileen Sobek.
As everybody knows, coral reefs around the world are in a severe state of threat, that there have been global warming events, bleaching events because of high ocean temperatures that have happened several times in the last few years. We're in the middle of another year with potential warming consequences here in the Marianas.
She said while it's impossible to manage threats at a global scale, the task force can tackle these threats at the local level by identifying resilient reefs and ways to mitigate potential harms. Bureau of Statistics and Plans Director Will Castro said beyond environmental damage, the depletion of Guam's coral reefs could also impact the local economy.
So summed up best to me, if there's no corals, there's no fish. And if there are no fish, we don't have tourists going in the water. And there are other implications in terms of homeland security and barriers to extreme weather conditions. But in terms of the economy, those would be the directly observed impacts upon the economy.
Some of the major topics of discussion at the meeting include the status and future of coral reefs, global warming, and local watersheds. University of Guam Assistant Professor Dr. Austin Shelton added that there is a period open for public comment at the Hyatt Hotel on Friday afternoon. Those who are unable to attend the meeting can also join on social media by using the hashtag Mariana's Coral. Or
we have a website, www.marianascoral.org, and you can find the agenda and all other relevant information for this meeting.
the task force meeting ends this Saturday with site visits to the Umatic Watershed, Tumon Bay, and PD bomb holes. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Isa Baza.
Stick around for more news here on Primetime.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming, KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
When we face an uncertain path, when we struggle with life's challenges, and when the unexpected happens,
it's a beautiful day.
We rely on the people we trust,
It's a beautiful,
who we can always count on,
beautiful day.
and to the ones who give us the most care throughout the years. Rely on Calvo's Select Care to give you the comfort and security you need
It's a beautiful day.
wherever you are. Gov Guam employees, retirees, and survivors, enroll today.
At IT&E, we know how important it is to stay connected, especially for students and their families. That's why IT&E is proud to give students more with the Motion Student Plan. It's just $30 a month for unlimited talk and text and 3 gigs of 4G LTE data. Bring your own device and get an additional 2 gigs and up to 3 months free. Students can do more with IT&E's 4G LTE network. Unlimited talk and text plus up to 5 gigs of 4G LTE data a month for just $30. Now that's life in motion.
Come celebrate with Ulitao, Guam's proud seafaring tradition at Fiestan Sadan Tasi, the Festival of the Canoes, October 1st and 2nd at the Valley of the Lati Talafofo River. Canoe carvers, artists, farmers, and local craftsmen will join us from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Matson Navigation, the Guam Visitors Bureau, Heineken, Kloppenberg Enterprises, GTA, Uno, the Guamanian Magazine, and the stations of KUAM are proud sponsors of this event. Tickets are available at Shell stations in Tamuning, Dededo, Barragata Tri-Intersection, and Chalampago. For info, visit valleyofthelati.com or call 789-3342.
If you can dream it, you can do it. In the all-new Ridgeline from Honda.
Connect with KUAM News. Find us on your favorite social media platform. Follow us and stay in the know with Guam's news leader.
It's one of several events leading up to the general election, and with 49 days until voters hit the polls, the Guam Young Professionals hosted a forum for candidates wanting a seat in the next Guam legislature. Ken Kitanidze has more.
It's one of the largest forums leading up to the general election, and no question went unanswered during a legislative forum hosted by the GYP at the Westin today. When it comes to top priorities, Republican candidate Amanda Bloss says she wants to expand the number of industries on Guam.
I also do believe it's important to continue to support tourism as an industry, and that's the reason I'm proposing a charter school that promotes hospitality. This means training our younger generations to have skills to directly go into the workforce.
As for how to foster small business growth, incumbent Democrat Michael Nicholas says it boils down to capital.
And so what I would like for us to do is take advantage of some of the provisions within the Securities and Exchange Act, which would allow us to establish an intrastate securities and exchange market here on Guam, where local small businesses can go and put their shares into this exchange, and the exchange can then facilitate matching those small business interests with investors who are looking to invest some of their money.
Incumbent Republican Senator Brad McCready, however, says the legislature needs to stay out of the way of small businesses.
There's too many people in the legislature who think just because they got elected, they now know more about the small business than the small business owner. We need to stay out of the way, let them do their work, and we need to support them in their success. I think that's the key to success right here, is to stay out of the way.
Along with how to grow our economy, candidates were asked about the minimum wage, transportation, and government borrowing. When it comes to repealing any bills, Democrat newcomer Talena Nelson says she will repeal raises for lawmakers.
For me, I thought it was very duplicitous in their actions. I thought that, but this is not to say to do away with the work that they have done, okay? We have very good incumbents here. But this would be the one law I would firstly repeal when we get in, so that we can finally put this to rest.
And for the hot topic of commutation of non-citizen criminals, candidates like newcomer Republican A.J. Balahaja says he's seen his share of violent crimes as a Guam police officer and shared his view on the governor's actions recently.
You know, the Chukis community is less than 1/3% of the population of Guam, but yet they are #1 in alcohol-related offenses. They are also #2 in overall violent arrest in our community. So I do support having these individuals be given the option to return home if they choose to do so.
KUAM shot the entirety of the forum and will air this weekend on Docomo Pacific Local 2 at 7:30 p.m. on GTA GNN Channel 17 at 7 a.m. on Saturday and 3 p.m. on Sunday. You can check the KUAM mobile app for additional times. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Ken Quintaniza.
Make sure to join us for another edition of D16 Tonight at the bottom of the hour. Scheduled to be our guests are Republican senatorial candidates Chris Duenas, Jose San Agustin, and incumbent Mary Torres. D16 Tonight is an interactive program, which means you're not only able to watch on KUAM TV8, but also YouTube, and also watch on our Facebook live stream to interact with the candidates. In addition to posting questions and comments, we ask that you send your sentiment in real time by tapping the reaction emoji so candidates know how you feel about their responses. D16 Tonight is 6:30 p.m. The Guam Economic Development Authority is in receipt of another application for special hotel qualifying certificate. Gita's Ed Camacho tells KUAM that Garden Villa LLC submitted an application for the Yachtville Hotel in Tumon. The project would be located on the Garden Villa grounds for 106 new hotel rooms. The application is under review by officials and estimated at $110 million. In the meantime, Camacho says Gita has also received a letter of intent from Bridge Capital LLC for the proposed Guam Pacific Plaza and Mall in Tamuning at the former Guam Greyhound Park. No action has been taken on that project at this introduce the 10 beautiful ladies vying for the crown. The 2016 Miss World pageant will take place on Wednesday, October 12th at the Sheraton. The winner will head to Washington, D.C., where she will compete in the Miss World pageant scheduled for December 20. Sports is next with Chris Barnett.
This is what we do on Guam's best network. We're the filter killers, the likers and sharers, the bingers and Netflix chillers, the tweeters and hashtaggers. GTA has improved their 4G LTE network, covering 95% of the island, delivering faster data speeds, strength and quality, and more reliability than ever. It's just what you need. So switch to GTA and step up to a better network, a strong network that lets you do what you do. GTA, better LTE than ever.
Chuck E. Cheese's Guam is not all fun and games. Our pizza is delicious with the freshest toppings, oven-baked to order. Try the fresh salad bar, sandwiches, and don't forget our mouth-watering wings. Come and eat at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam.
It's the kickoff to savings event at Cars Plus in Muncie, going on now through September. Save thousands on a brand new Hyundai. Experience the award-winning Hyundai lineup with the best warranty on Guam. 10 years or 100,000 miles. The 2017 Hyundai Elantra starting at just $16,995. That's right, a 2017. Or how about the Hyundai Accent starting at just $11,995? Unbeatable. SUV lovers, the Hyundai Tucson is starting at just $21,995. The perfect vehicle for those tailgate parties. Visit CarsPlusGuam.com for easy shopping and quick financing. Kick off the savings going on now at Cars Plus, driven by you.
Make sure we're getting ready. Excuse me. Hey, Flacco, what's in the bag?
McDonald's new Mighty Wings.
Those look good. I'll play you for them.
For what, my wings?
First one to miss has to watch the other one eat.
Let's go. Left upright.
I'm winning off the scoreboard through the uprights. Oh, man. Not again.
Cap, you trying to get my wings?
Nah, I'm right here.
What's that noise?
How come you're not training for the Guam Koku Road Race, man?
It's not even fair, bro. I'll just win that.
Boom! Got him.
This is what precision looks like, helping you see what's hard to see, thanks to Terrain Denali's Side Blind Zone Alert that uses radar to watch your blind spots. So it's true, Mom does have eyes in the back of her head. The new, meticulously crafted 2016 Terrain Denali. From GMC, this is the precision of professional grade.
Visit AutoSpot GMC today for great offers. We are your GMC dealer of Guam.
Off today, Guam, Chris Barnett with sports. Happy Hump Day! All right, coming up on the show, we're going to preview Thursday Night Football on CBS, but first let's kick it off with a little basketball. Swish. SC Corp meeting up with the Slingstone in the Shirley's Basketball League. Ryan Nangauta rebound, dishes the ball off to teammate Gio Perez. Pass down court to Sam Setic. Behind the back bounce to Ryan Camacho. Camacho to Nangauta for the left-hand layup. Alfredo Royster with the open lane to the basket for the easy lay-in. Just too easy. Ryan Camacho finding Sam Setic, slipping past the D for the baseline. Reverse back that thing up layup. SC Corp's Chris Blas with his trademark mid-range J. Shot, of course, good. Ryan Camacho dribbling for Slingstone, weaving his way through the flat-footed D to get in for two. No love lost between the Setic brothers. Sammy working on Sam. Little push-off to create separation. Step back, three, Talaza, all net. Gio Perez, Mullard on the pump fake. On the three, gives it up to Sam Setic. Corner three, nothing but the bottom of the net. A missed three-point attempt by SC Corp. Alfredo Royster coming up with the loose ball. Royster dribbles out to the three-point line and hits the deep ball. Alfredo, 16 points on the night. Slingstone went on to take the game, 86-59. Sam Setic, quest card, game-high 35 points. Teammate Ryan Nangauta added 21 in the win. Next up, the co-ed division, Coast 360, taking on Jamaican Grill Yaman. More from Coast 360. Michael Borja drive towards the rim. Little stutter step with some hang time there. Hey, wow. Ryan Mendiola, Yaman. Three is Irie. All net. Michael Borja, say it with your chest, son. He gets a deep ball to fall for three. Rain. Jamaican Grill moving the ball around to find a big man. Dwayne Michael down low. Big man with some touch on the ball for the baseline jumper. All about that baseline. Borja to Bollinger. Three. Putting the three in. Coast 360. Jamaican Grill working the give and go. Isper made. Making his way through traffic. Getting by four defenders for 2 points. With the game tied at 21 apiece, the power went out and the game was called. This matchup will pick up where they left off on October 1st. All right, hey, in a battle of the undefeateds on CBS Thursday Night Football, the 2-0 Texans taking on Andy Wheeler's 2-0 Patriots in New England. Now, the Gronk not sure yet if he's going to play this Friday, with old cranky coach Bill Belichick not happy with reporters asking about Jimmy Garoppolo's health and if he'll be ready come game time.
Based on what's in the best interest of the football team, player's personal situation, his health always comes first. Right? That's always comes first. That's not a football decision. That's a medical decision. Football decisions are based on what's best for the football team. That's what we've always done around here. That's what we'll always do as long as I'm here. That will never change. We'll always do what's best for the football team. That's what it's all driven by. I'm a football coach. I'm not a doctor. The medical staff is the medical staff. I coach the team. Medical people handle the injuries. They don't call plays. I don't do surgery. We have a great deal there. Works out good.
All right, remember that CBS Thursday Night Football. Their Thursday is our Friday because we're advanced. Kickoff Friday morning, 10:25, KUAM, CBS TV 11. All right, my name's Chris. Hope you guys have a great hump day. Until tomorrow, you keep on shining, Guam. Adios!
Cause you and I, oh yeah, we could fly so high, so high. You and I won't let this moment pass us by, pass us by. Won't let this moment pass us by. Won't let this moment pass us by. Won't let this moment pass us by.
Join us at the second annual E-Coast 5K and Family Fair, Saturday, September 24th at our Mighty Member Center. Showtime 5:30, go time 6 a.m. The first 360 finishers receive a Coast 360 thermal flask, and the first 1,000 finishers receive a Dry Fit D, and great prizes for the top division runners. Right after the race, our family E-Coast Fair is packed with food, kid activities, and great raffles where you can win $1,000 in cash, 2 round-trip tickets to the Philippines, and more. Plus, learn more about ways you and your family can help create a greener Guam. Register today at Hornet Sporting Goods, Goodies, iFit Guam, or any Coast 360 location. Visit Coast360FCU.com for details. Special thanks to our sponsors, Docomo Pacific, Calaboo's Insurance, AM Insurance, Title Guarantee, J&G Distributors, DeWitt Guam, Foremost and Powerade, Pepsi Bottling Company, Midpack, Security Title, Ambrose, Payless Supermarkets, and all our generous sponsors. The second annual E-Coast 5K and Family Fair at Coast 360. Together we thrive.
The Nissan Summer Fun Event is on. Get into a new Nissan Rogue starting at $129 per pay period with a no-worries car care plan. Your new Nissan comes with a free 3 years protection plan and free paint sealant. Enjoy discounts up to $10,000 when you choose from the award-winning lineup of Nissan SUVs, including Murano, Pathfinder, and the Quest Sports Van. Score super low easy financing and save even more during the Summer Fun Event at Nissan Upper Dumont. Rogue starting at $129 per pay period. Find out more at NissanGuam.com.
If you're at risk of becoming homeless, and if you're a vet, please don't be anxious because West Care is here to help. My family and I are living proof of what West Care can do for you. Believe me, I'm so grateful to West Care. You know, we include West Care in our prayers.
Call Veteran Advocate Hotline at 482-9001 or 488-9001.
This message has been brought to you by the KUAM Care Force.
What steps can the community take for a more sustainable Guam? Here's Alyssa Eclavea with this week's Think Green.
Think Green is presented by Pacific Solar and Photovoltaics, keeping Guam green one roof at a time. Call 632-4002 for more information.
The Guam Environmental Protection Agency presented their initiatives for the Zero Waste Plan at the Rotary Club of Tumon Bay. Air and Land Division Administrator of Guam EPA, Conchita S.N. Taitano, expresses why recycling and proper waste disposal is essential.
Living on an island, we are subjected to unique challenges. We have limited land mass. It's not like we're in the continental U.S. where there's options on waste disposal options. So recycling, reuse, sustainability, sustainable use of materials is very important.
Since 2013, EPA worked tirelessly on their approach toward the implementation of the Zero Waste Plan. Taitano says that one of their 3 projects includes seeking assistance from companies to conduct outreach and education about the Zero Waste Plan.
The funding is provided through the Guam legislature in Public Law 33-136, which is the Recycling Economic Industry Stimulus Law. There's a couple of things in that law, which we're doing already, which is companies that ship recyclable materials off island are eligible for to get paid $30 per ton of waste that they send out. In that law, the legislature through Rory Respicio's office allocated about $300,000 for the implementation of the Zero Waste Plan.
The Recycling Revolving Fund generates over $2 million annually. Part of the funds have been directed to the Mayor's Council of Guam to increase sustainability and recycling efforts throughout the island.
Every government has a plan, but it takes money to do the implementation. So we've got funding for that, and he's allocated $100,000 for outreach and educations to promote recycling throughout the island.
One of EPA's proposals include implementing a grant system that non-government organizations, grassroots organizations, schools, and higher learning institutions can apply for.
Essentially, show us what your pilot project is. Tell us how best can we handle our waste on island. We want to inspire the community at the grassroots level to come forward and show us the way. Because certainly the government is not the end all for answers. I mean, we can help, but the community is bigger than just the government. The community is all of us.
For more information about the Zero Waste Plan, please visit their website at epa.guam.gov. With this week's Think Green, I'm Alyssa Eclavea.
Think Green is presented by Pacific Solar and Photovoltaics, keeping Guam green one roof at a time. Call 632-4002 for more information.
And before we close out the news tonight, here's our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club. Celebrating today, Magdalene Diaz. Happy birthday, Maggie, coming from your family and friends. Happy birthday, Renee Monique Akfaji Tyron from the entire family. And last but not least, happy birthday to you, Javen Mesa. Remember, you can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. Make sure to include your name and birthday so we can celebrate you. And that's going to do it for us here on the news desk. Stay tuned. D16 Tonight is next.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E Life in Motion.
Hafa day, everyone. Welcome to D16 Tonight. I'm Ken Quintanilla. We have 3 of your candidates running for senator live in studio to take your questions. All you have to do is go to our Facebook page and interact with us on our live stream. For those of you already online, fire away. We'll get to your questions in a bit. But with us this week, we have Republican senatorial candidates, former Senator Chris Duenas, incumbent Mary Torres, and former DepCorp Director Jose San Agustin. Before we begin, I'll give each of you about 30 seconds for some introductory comments. Once we get into the question and answer portion, we'll give each of you about 30 seconds to respond. So I guess I'll start with you, Chris.
Sure, thank you. I'm Chris Duenas, and thank you to the people of Guam for tuning in tonight. It's our pleasure to be here to discuss issues with you. 16 years in the private sector, and now going on 14 years in public service. I've served 2 administrations, and I've served 2 terms in the legislature, mostly concentrating on youth issues, as well as government reform and reorganization and efficiency. If elected senator in this coming term and going into the 34th Guam legislature, I will concentrate on cleaning up our island, working with you to ensure we clean up our island. Every household should have a rollout cart for low or no cost. I can tell you right now, with this coastal cleanup, over 24,000 pounds of trash was picked up in 4 hours. That's unconscionable.
And Mary?
Hafide, my name is Mary Camacho Torres. I'm a current senator in the 33rd Guam legislature. When I ran for office 2 years ago, I promised to do good government, to be a responsible senator, to pass legislation that had an actual effect on improving your lives in some way or another. And a lot of what I've done has been modernizing some of our old laws. And I want to continue to put forth legislation that is responsive to your needs. And I think that if you want government that truly puts you first, I humbly ask that you support me, somebody that is true, somebody that's true to the cause and that will do the right thing for you, no matter what. Si Zeus Maasi.
And Jose?
Hafide, good evening. My name is Jose Afaji San Augustine, and I served in the United States Marine Corps for 30 years. The reason for my running are several issues. Our veterans, and of course, being a Marine, I would like to be your voice to ensure that our veterans that have served our country are taken care of medically, get better medical service, and prevent homelessness. The other one is the drug epidemic on Guam that has taken over a lot of our families. That has become a very serious issue. Understanding that I was a director of DOC, I've seen the damage that this has caused many of the families. Thank you.
Okay, and I guess we'll get to our questions now. The first question I have is, if elected, what is the first bill you would introduce in your term? I'll start with Mary.
In my first term, currently, I've introduced a lot of legislation that had to do with voter registration reform. And this bill modernized a lot of the way we register to vote, and it provided for online registration. I also had a lot of bills that made it easier for people. For example, it gave maternity leave for women, and it also established what parental leave was for mothers, fathers, regardless of their gender. And in my next term, what I want to do is focus on legislation that addresses some of the environmental issues, and also legislation that addresses economic impetus, how we can get people back to work.
Okay, next, Jose.
Well, I would like to work closely with the federal government and create a bill to be able to bring a representative here to expedite many of the delay of paperwork in order to get better treatment for our veterans. The process as it is right now is that the paperwork has to be sent off to Hawaii, reviewed, and many times that takes a long time. And that's not acceptable. Our veterans, they did not hesitate when they volunteered to join the military. I think they are entitled to better care. And one way to do that is being an advocate to fight for them and be able to bring a resource here so that we could expedite that process.
And Chris, what would be the first bill?
Ken, the first bill I'm going to introduce is going to be called the Respeto Itano Act of 2017. Basically, translated, this is to respect our land. This will be an initiative to ensure that the current 17,000 households that are having rollout service, recycle, and trash service will actually expand out to the 48,000 households that we have. That means the disparity between 17,000 households right now and 48,000 households is exactly why we see all the trash we see around the island and illegal dump sites. You know, Ken, right now we're subsidizing solid waste at the tune of $14 million. And we also have a situation where we have a lot of recycling funds and other funds that are not going to the true cause of making sure we get rid of our waste stream. So this will be my first bill.
Okay, and we get some of the Facebook questions. Art Murphy, hello. He asked, do you support reducing the number of senators? I know there's been some discussion about that before, so I'll start with Jose. Do you support reducing the number of senators?
I thank you for that question. I think at one time it used to be 21, and then now we're down to 15. I understand in the United States, you know, each state, they only have like 1 or 2 senators. I'm up for discussion on that. I favor that, but I think, you know, I want to share this that there, you know, if you have more folks making discussion and making wiser decisions, I think it's more productive than having very few. So it's something that I'm up for consideration.
Okay, and next, Chris, what do you support reducing the number of senators?
I do not. I think that the current level at 15 is appropriate. I think that concentration of power is something we always have to watch out for. Right now, it takes 8 members of the legislature to pass a bill. It takes 10 members of the legislature to override the governor. And so if you look at it right now, you have to get a consensus, of the group to get those votes. You see some bills that are even reasonable bills that sometimes won't make it if the individual doesn't go and convince enough senators that this is a good policy. And so I think that, avoiding concentration of power and ensuring that, we have a broad swath of ideas to move our island forward is something that our island and our people deserve.
And Mary?
I'm not in support of reducing it. I think 21 was a good number. And the reason I do is as Chris said, there's a concentration of power. The fewer that you have, the greater the concentration of power within a small select group. Also, by opening it up to a lot more candidates, you widen the chances of a diversity of people having a shot at the seat. And that is really where you have the best governance, when you have a broad spectrum of people and you have others that can come in to the mix. So I would not support a reduction. I think that it's a dangerous proposition.
And from reducing senators to reducing salaries, I know that's been a hot topic in regards to the raises for senators. Do you support a repeal of the raises? Chris, I'll start with you.
I have no problem rolling back my salary as a senator. I will not be in support of rolling back the chief executive as well as the directors of the agencies, and I do not support the rollback of the mayors. I think the mayors are some of the hardest working people out there. They deserve that pay. They worked at low pay for so many years taking care of our people. And I think, by and large, while there is some disagreement on the Hay study, I think as far as the cabinet officials and the governor and lieutenant governor, they got it right. In the legislature, it comes down to, if you're running for the legislature, I don't think you should run for the legislature for a salary. I think you should run because you want to serve. And if you need a salary, you have to supplement it some other way.
And Mary, do you support the repeal of raises for senators?
I do support it. And I think that we have a situation where we have to be a little more fiscally responsible. And if there are ways that we can shift some of the revenues from one area to a more critical area, I would support that. And it would be a sacrifice on our part, but I think as public servants, that's a sacrifice that many of us are willing to take.
And Jose?
Well, repeal, take back my pay, but definitely not those folks that are working very hard out there, which are the mayors and the directors. But take mine back. These people have a lot of hard work ahead of them, and they deserve that compensation.
Okay, and I know that all of you are Republicans here, but one of the Democratic candidates, Jermaine Alerta, he's asking, do you support the specific recommendation of raising taxes to help fund the Guam Memorial Hospital? I'll start with Mary.
I do not support raising of taxes at this point. I think one of the things that we have to be concerned about is that our economy is really not doing that good. The small businesses and the mid-sized businesses are struggling right now. And as they struggle, they compromise the security of our economic, our stability of our economy on Guam. The answer is not to raise taxes. The answer is fiscal responsibility, controlled spending, and controlling the bleeding, I think, more than anything at this point in our government.
And Jose?
I don't want to put that on the hands of our taxpayers. I think there's other avenues that we can look about to ensure fiscal responsibility, but definitely not to raise taxes and burden our taxpayers.
And Chris?
Ken, I think Jermaine, and I would hope that he knew that there was no taxes needed or required for the current bond that went out, or even the bond to ensure that the hospital could become more viable. The talk about some ideas between raising fees was to create an insurance pool and ensure that we could insure our people so that we could reduce the amount of self-pay and no pay at the hospital. So I want to be clear, I am not in favor of raising taxes. I am in favor of a public discussion on how do we at one point in time finally insure the uninsured so we can really bring true health care to our people, and also to ensure that the hospital as well as other organizations can get paid promptly.
Thanks again, guys. We're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We have more D16 tonight.
For 20 years, Matson has been an important part of our everyday lives. Bringing in the cars we drive, the food we eat, and the materials that helped build our homes. From caring for our land through the Adaki Itano program to generously supporting our local charity, Matson has contributed to the preservation and growth of our island. On behalf of those you've served throughout your 20 years on Guam, Sigzis Ma'asi, Matson.
Tourism, it's our #1 industry. As Guam's largest employer, tourism supports 20,000 jobs. In fact, 1 out of every 3 jobs is tourism related. Annually, tourism generates over $150 million in tax revenue. Without it, every household would pay an additional $3,100 per year. From real estate to retail, tourism has a positive impact on every industry. Make Guam a better place to live, work, and visit. Support tourism.
Hi, I'm interested in one of your new Samsung devices.
No problem. Check our new Galaxy S7 Edge.
Our network is faster and more reliable with increased reach throughout the islands, Guam, and the Sea of Isles.
What do you think?
It's lit.
Smiling is a natural response to joy, happiness, and excitement. Your smile reveals a lot about who you are. A healthy, beautiful smile can brighten your appearance and be an invitation to conversation and friendship. It is often one of the first things people notice about you. Now, thanks to the advancements in dentistry, you can have the smile you have always wanted, giving you an improved smile that looks and feels great.
My silver fillings that I have, they're getting older in my mouth and I need to replace them. So I've started to do that and I've replaced them with the white fillings and I've had really great success with that. It looks good, they feel natural, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the bleaching. I want a white look all around my mouth.
Alpha Day, my name is Sarah Thomas Netadog. I'm the Regional Vice President for West Care Pacific Islands, and we have a program with the Veterans Administration to provide supportive services to veterans and families who may need assistance in accessing services to help pay for rent, to pay utilities, or to connect with educational programs.
Call Veteran Advocate Hotline at 482-9001 or 488-9001.
This message has been brought to you by the KUAM Care Force.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Ruby Tuesday now gives you more for lunch. Endless trips to the Fresh Garden Bar, plus add-ons, mini combinations, and even new meal options. It's the new lunchtime menu, available Monday to Friday until 2 p.m., only at Ruby Tuesday.
Welcome back to D16 Tonight. If you're just joining us online or on KUAM Digital, we've got with us in studio Mary Torres, Chris Duenas, and Jose San Augustine. And if you got a question, feel free to post it on our Facebook live stream. We'll get back to the questions. We have one from Ophelia Frank Bayless. She asks, what has more emphasis for you? Scholarships for students to graduate and return to Guam, or incentives for attracting off-island medical teachers and professionals? We'll start with Mary.
I think that it's important to have scholarships and invest in our local talent. I think that if you were to train people, give them opportunities to advance in their professional careers, the benefit to the community overall is best. And so I would support scholarships over incentivizing people who would have a very transient exposure to Guam, and you know, their contributions would only be within the limited time that they're here. I would invest in the long term and the local, as opposed to the short term and the off island.
And Hosea, do you support scholarships for students to graduate and return to Guam, or incentives for attracting off-island medical teachers and professionals?
I think I like to look at balancing the two, but it's very important to really have it here and maintain it here on our island. There's almost no reason why we have to go off island to recruit nurses. For example, when we have the University of Guam that can actually deal with that type of profession, I think we should look at it seriously and start building off the infrastructure that's there, so that the professionals or the professions of nursing and others, medical, can be kept here on island.
And Chris?
You know, Ophelia, thank you for the question. Actually, I introduced legislation in the 31st Guam Legislature, and there are already scholarship opportunities, and I would like to fully fund those scholarship opportunities. I believe the University of Guam is taking advantage of some of them now. It was actually to create local businesses where they would get the tax breaks by funding some of these. Really right now, I think between the nurses situation as well as our H-2B visa situation, there is a scholarship that we created for the Trades Academy. And I think we should fully fund that now, so we can definitely train up our workforce quickly with regard to the need for construction trades and other trades related to creating opportunities for our people.
Okay, we have a question from Teddy Tran. He was asking about the governor's recent actions regarding commutation and deportation. Do you support it? We'll start with Jose.
I support that. Of course, as a director at the DOC, I've seen the many problems that many of our federated state of Micronesia clients had done here on our island, criminal-wise. I could tell you that I've shared the same concern with many of the citizens out there, and I asked them their thought of the deportation, and they support it. But coming from me, you know, I take this as a lesson learned for the community, that this is a good thing, that there's a law, and the law works. And the reason for the law is to protect the larger community from any ongoing activities.
And Chris?
You know, first of all, Ken, I think this has to be said because I don't hear this a lot. There are a lot of folks from the FSM on Guam that are doing a great job, working hard and trying to take care of their families and have a better life for their people. You know, the most important thing here is twofold. It's about safety and security for all the people of Guam, not just the Chamorros, not just those others that have immigrated to Guam, and not just, but for even those folks from FSM themselves to understand that this is about public safety. The other issue is, because I worked with the governor on this, one of the reasons for this issue as well is to raise the issue with the federal government, to show them that they've got to do their part. And I think that this has accomplished both, and I support exactly what the governor's doing.
Mary, do you support the governor's recent action regarding commutation?
I don't support the method by which he went through with it. I think that he should have first worked with the federal government on those sorts of crimes that are deportable crimes and have it done that way, because we don't control immigration. And although you can send them away, there's no guarantee that they couldn't return, or there's no way that you can stop them from returning as a government. I also am concerned, though, that we're not addressing the issue with time served and a debt served to the community for these crimes. When you commute them, you essentially wipe away their slate and send them on their merry way. In instances where people are perhaps dangerous to a community, you then have allowed them to return to a community that they could potentially harm. And I have some concerns about that as well.
And from speaking about removing people to bringing people in, I know there's been issues regarding the HB2 visa and and there's the challenges that Guam faces with the federal government. What do you plan to do to address that? I'll start with you, Chris.
Sure, we've already been addressing it. The governor has talked to folks in Congress. He has talked to all the way, written letters all the way up to the President of the United States, as well as Department of Interior, Department of Defense. There's been years and years now of discussions with the federal government on a number of issues, but particularly on this issue now for the last several months. It's unconscionable that a policy decision can be made so far away that affects our economy, our ability to do what we need to do to continue to build investment on our island. It's kind of unconscionable too, and kind of a mystery on how the military do all this buildup, yet this situation's happening. And I think it's wrong, and I think we need to go and talk to the federal government and ensure that we solve this problem.
It's the issue. And personally, feeling the effect that already were a contractor that I had lined up had to pull back because they had to send away workers. So short term, we have to do something. We have to work closer with Washington. I know that in the long term, we can work with our Trades Academy to build up the base, which is what we should do ultimately. We should build up our skilled labor base and our professional base. But in the short term, we have to press the issue because Guam is going to be adversely affected. And with the military buildup or just with general buildup, we have a hotel now that wants to come online, as applied to Gita. That's a real issue for our island right now.
And Jose?
This has been a long time issue ever since I was probably very young. And, again, it's surfacing. We got Trades Academy, we got GCC that trains folks on these trades. So I would like to see the initiative move forward to be able to train folks here on island to be able to do build-ups instead of having to bring people in. And what's important about that is that the money stays here on the island and it doesn't go out. But it's just fact that it's just beyond me that we have to go off island to recruit professionals when we have the ability here to build off the foundation and improve on it and not rely on outside employment.
Okay, and then another question from John Larissa Camacho. She asked, what do you think about holding parents accountable for minors' children's bad behavior in regards to bullying? I know we had a heartbreaking story last week regarding about that. If elected, what do you plan to do about bullying to our island's kids? I'll start with Mary.
I think we need to rely on the professionals who are trained to deal with families and with crimes and with extenuating circumstances. It is hard to say that if this, then that, because there are so many factors that go into behavior, and so I would defer to professionals. I would not make it an automatic policy. I don't think that that's wise.
And
I think a lot of it has to do with education, both in part of the parent and the child. The child being a child growing up, just starting to spread their wings and testing the waters. But really, a lot of it has to do with education, both on the parents and the child. I agree with Mary's comment, but at the same time, I'm still open to holding parents accountable for their kids.
Chris?
Having been director of Department of Youth Affairs for 6.5 years, I really understand the family dynamics and how sometimes situations become beyond control within the family unit. We have a proven success in our government. It's called systems of care. It works for young people who have, severe emotional disturbances and things where families and the government and social workers come together to solve problems. There is a level of accountability that parents always have to have. But when you have a dysfunctioning family, you have to intervene. And I think programs that actually do that systems of care approach and addressing the problem is the more important thing than just straight away accountability from the parent, although that's important too.
Wow, the show went by really fast. I'm being told we need to wrap up, but we'll have each of you guys with your last comments. Yeah, we'll start with Jose.
Is it a comment or a question?
Last comments you have for the people of Guam.
Well, actually, I have 4 items on my agenda, and I hope that you'll consider my platform. One of them is really to engage with being the advocate for our veterans, our military veterans. Many of these folks, by thousands, have served honorably in the military, And being here on an isolated island, we tend to be forgotten. Very little medical resources. And I know that these people deserve better medical care than what they are getting right now. The second part is the drug epidemic that's continued to be a problem here on Guam. So if you all could consider, I'm number 12 Republican ticket. Thank you.
And Chris?
You know, to the people of Guam, I hope you've had an opportunity to glean some of our important priorities tonight for the people of Guam. You know, there's just so much to do, but I think that as a senator, you have to focus. You have to be determined to get something done that really affects our island. Right now, I just cannot accept anymore the amount of garbage and trash, and I think you can't either. That keeps piling up on our island. One of the first things we need to do is ensure that every household has a recycle bin as well as a rollout bin for no or low cost. This will take thousands and thousands of tons out of the current waste stream that we have all over in the boonies that we're paying so much more money to pull it out of the boonies and throw away, and the manpower that goes into that. I will focus on this to clean up our island once and for all. Thank you very much. And I'm number 5 on the Republican side of the ballot.
I'm gonna close it out with Mary.
Thank you. Sidus Masi, everybody. I think when we look at candidates, we have to recall what it is that we're looking for. Are we looking for people that are going to take your concerns into consideration, that are really going to fight for you? I've proven in everything I've done in my professional career, in my personal career, that I've been one that's always been there to stand up for your rights and to stand up for those people that are not in the position to advocate for themselves. There are a lot of measures that I put in place that are very practical. And I think we need practical people that are going to worry about how we spend our money. I personally have spent the least amount of money of any of the senators this term. And it starts with us being responsible. And I humbly ask for your vote because I want to be there to serve you. Sidus Maasi.
Thanks again, guys, for joining us, and best of luck to all of you guys in November. We'll be seeing you guys on the campaign trail. Y'all did awesome tonight.
Thanks,
and thank you all again for watching. Remember, your vote is your voice. Good night.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E.